to Delish, where we show you how to grow your own food, source the freshest local produce and bring it all to the table.
Well, I'm going to show everyone at this farmer's market how to cook 2 simple dishes using seafood and fresh veggies. Plus, I'm going to do a story on a meat that's jumping, kangaroo.
Can't wait to see that one, Josh. Well, I'm taking you out into the garden to show you how to grow thyme as well as raspberries and barramundi. True story. What about you, Julia?
I'm going to take your thyme and raspberries and your kangaroo meat and make 3 great dishes.
Magic. Well, we've got a lot to cover. Let's get this show on the road.
They're a great alternative to crayfish. They're cheaper, they're easier to source, and in my opinion, they're way tastier. With such a sweet and succulent shellfish, I think it's best to keep the flavours simple. So I'm going to show you an easy entree that pairs bugs with the fresh and zingy flavour of Nev's lemon thyme. Lemon thyme differs from common thyme in that its leaves are rounder and greener and the whole plant smells and tastes of lemon. Because it's very delicate, it's best used as a finishing herb or for quick cooking, and it's just gorgeous with seafood. This is just one way to prepare the bugs. Pull off the heads and then use kitchen scissors to cut along the sides to peel off the front. Snip off all these little bits. To devein, release it from the bottom and pull it out through the top. Now I just top with some freshly cracked black pepper and some lemon thyme leaves. I drizzle that with some olive oil and leave it for a little while to infuse all those flavours into the meat. I'm pairing my bugs with a really simple, fresh and crunchy salad. I've got here a fennel bulb. I've just trimmed off the base and taken off some of the outer layers, and I'm keeping the fronds, which I'll use later. I'm going to use a mandolin to shave this. Using a mandolin means I'll get lovely thin and crispy rounds. Just be careful of your fingers. Orange segments to the fennel. Fennel and orange are a really great combination, and they're fantastic with fresh seafood. This is a really Sicilian style dish, and it's often used as a palate cleanser. Toss the fennel and orange together with a lot of freshly cracked black pepper and some olive oil. The orange juice from the segments will provide enough of a dressing. Tear in the reserved fennel fronds for some colour. I've preheated my grill to the highest setting, and now I've just popped my bug in to cook for about 5 minutes. When it's ready, place it on the plate and drizzle with a bit more olive oil. Then serve with a good amount of salad and a wedge of lemon. A simply delicious, fresh and healthy entree. Grilled bugs with lemon thyme and a fennel and orange salad. Growing your own fresh lemon thyme couldn't be easier. Nev's about to show you how.
Take a look at major cultures down through the ages and you'll find that this little fella was never very far away. The ancient Egyptians, Greeks, Romans and medieval Europeans had lots of uses for the herb thyme. Better than most herbs, thyme can be dried effectively. Use smaller quantities than fresh leaves when you're cooking. Like the bay leaf, thyme slowly releases its flavour, so it can be added early in the cooking process. There's a multitude of different varieties available, and the Mediterranean Sea is a central point of their distribution. They succeed close to the coast, and the hard stems and leaves enable this plant to get through tough conditions such as drought and salt-laden sea winds. This is a ground cover which can actually be walked on once it's mature, and this can lead to wonderful fragrances coming up from the ground to greet you. In my garden, I've planted a couple of different thymes in pots close to the oven, so it's easy to add to breads and pizzas. An occasional feed with liquid fertiliser is all that's required to keep it moving along. You don't want rapid growth, just slow and gentle. Thyme has found its way into a number of medications, particularly for respiratory illnesses. On the home front, you can dunk a couple of sprigs into some boiling hot water to make a tea that certainly seems to help to relieve symptoms of colds and flu.
Stay with us. After the break, a healthy, bouncing burger.
Overseas, the kangaroo is the first word on everyone's lips whenever Australia is mentioned. Roos are certainly an exotic and rare animal outside Australia. But the truth is, in some parts of the country, the roo population is too large for the local ecosystem to handle.
If we do have so many roos, why aren't more of us throwing them into our shopping trolley each week? Now, before you turn your nose up at the idea, I think you shouldn't knock it till you try it. So I'm going to do some research. Butcher Vince Garaffa is one of the biggest fans of kangaroo as a tasty alternative for every Australian household, and he knows a thing or two about cooking it.
I'd suggest that the kangaroo has got a very distinct, mild, gamey flavour. It is very, very nice and rich, but in a mild way.
And is it good for you?
It's excellent. Health-wise, it's the only free-range meat that's genuine in the world. All other free-range meats have always been farmed and end up growing far too much fat. Kangaroo is excellent.
Which variety of kangaroos are commonly used, and do they taste different?
I haven't found any difference in flavour, but I don't think that we're eating enough to be able to notice that. But Western Red and Western Grey seem to be the most popular that we're producing in Western Australia with King River.
What are different cuts on offer, and how do you prepare them for cooking?
The favourite cuts that I've got, the strip loin, you turn around and you barbecue that or pan fry it. It is just a joy. The top side, when I want to cut thin slices, maybe wrap them around something or stuff them with a little something. And the rump, the succulence of the rump for your kebabs, anything at all that just needs a slightly wet dish, beautiful.
Well, Julia wants to mince some roo meat, so which one of these cuts would you recommend?
Well, if she trusts me, we're going to grab the beautiful rump. It's got a much finer texture, it's much more succulent, and will keep that moisture in a meatloaf, in a burger, or even meatballs. It'd be just sensational.
Well, now we're in business. Let's see what Julia can come up with.
Thanks, Josh. Well, I've put Vince's beautiful kangaroo rump through the mincer because I'm making the ultimate quick and easy Australian dish, the Aussie burger. I have some chopped bacon. Just add that to the bowl. I'm adding some finely chopped rosemary and thyme to ramp up the flavours. Crack an egg in to help it bind and season very well with salt and pepper. Kangaroo loves pepper.
I've also got here some onion and garlic that I've been frying off for about 5 minutes, so that can go straight into the mix. And now it's time to get your hands dirty.
Get your hands in there and mix it all around so the herbs get evenly distributed throughout.
Now that my mixture is completely combined, I need to make my patties.
Try to show a little restraint and don't make them too big. I know it's hard, and put them aside until you're ready to cook them.
I've just put my burgers in the fridge to bind them a little bit, and now I'm going to tell you about some of the other yummy things that are going into my burger. Now, it wouldn't be an Aussie burger if it didn't have beetroot in it. So I've got here some beetroot that I've roasted. 2 peeled beetroot with some salt, pepper and olive oil that has been roasted in the oven at 180 for about half an hour. This is how they turn out. I've also got some caramelised onion, which is just sliced onion, slowly cooked in olive oil, brown sugar and balsamic vinegar.
I'm using the teppanyaki plate because I want to sear the burgers and keep them really moist and flavoursome. I've heated this up to a medium to high heat. Brush with a bit of oil and place your patties down.
Now it's time to flip my burger, and this is a really important time because I'm going to put the cheese on as well. Now, the residual heat from that side of the burger and the heat from the grill should start to melt the cheese slightly.
When the burgers are almost cooked, slice your buns in half. I'm using these nice ciabatta rolls. Crack an egg onto the grill as well and place on top of the patty once it's cooked. Now it's time to assemble. Place a good layer of onions on the bottom. Then place the burger, cheese and egg on top. Slice the beetroot and layer that on top. I've dressed a bit of rocket really simply with a tiny bit of oil and balsamic, and that goes on top of the beetroot. I've spread the top of the bun with Dijon mustard, a good sprinkle of salt and pepper, and then close it up.
And there you have an Aussie pub classic transformed into a healthy and delicious meal for home. The perfect accompaniment, in my opinion, a nice tall glass of pale ale.
Kangaroo is really underrated. Kangaroo meat's the best meat jumping around. Like, it's healthier than beef and lamb. It just is. It's got more iron, more zinc. It's got less animal fat, less saturated fat and cholesterol. It's brilliant. But you've got to know how to cook it, you know. It's got to be lean and sort of cooked fast and all that sort of stuff. And boy, is it cheap. It's cheap. It's so good for you. So we should be eating more kangaroo meat because we export our kangaroo meat to Europe and it ends up as pet food. So our pets are healthier than we are. More kangaroo. Go Roo. Go kangaroo.
The symbiotic relationship between fish and fresh vegetables. Sounds a bit strange, doesn't it? After the break, I'm going to show you how it works.
Farmers markets or growers markets are the best place to pick up the freshest, locally grown produce, and it's a great alternative if you don't have time to grow your own fruit and veggies. The markets are also a hub for ideas. Cooking demos are an excellent way to bring new recipes into the kitchen, and today I'm showing the locals at the Kalamunda Farmers Market east of Perth how to cook barbecued salmon skewers with prawns and organically grown grape tomatoes, and also how to prepare a smoked trout salad with feta and rocket.
So first of all, we're going to dice up our salmon, making sure we get nice square cubes. We're going to fit nicely on our skewers so we can start marinating and getting all those flavours in towards the salmon. We're going to pop that into the bowl, chuck in our tomatoes now. And we're also going to throw in our prawns as well. We're going to put in some fresh thyme, just the leaves. We'll slice up some garlic, a generous amount of olive oil, and we'll give that a quick toss. So we'll leave that to marinate on. So cleaning a smoked trout. By putting your fingers just on here, this top skin will just peel straight off the trout. Seafood preparation is never ever pretty, so get your hands dirty and start getting involved. So to do the salad, we're going to have a mixture of baby spinach and some rocket. We're also going to put in some feta. And we'll just mix that straight to our salad as well. Break up our smoked trout, break that up straight for the salad. So our last little ingredient we're going to put into our salad as well is some of these fresh little cherry tomatoes. We'll just leave them whole, that way that when the people bite into them, they'll get that nice burst of the tomato flavour. So these have been marinating for a while, probably leave them in your fridge for about 20 minutes, let them really absorb all those flavours. So now we've got all our skewers here and they're all ready to cook. All we're going to do now is give them a quick little season with salt and pepper. So I've got my barbie as hot as it goes. I'm going to put them straight onto the open grill and we'll let them flame cook off, and that'll kind of roast the tomatoes as well. So while they're starting to cook there, we'll start to dress our salad now as well. So we're going to put a nice drizzle of olive oil, salt and pepper, and we're going to use some lemon juice, and we're also going to put a hint of lime. So we'll give that a quick mix, making sure that flavour gets through all your salad. These are coming along nice. We'll just turn them over now, start to cook the other side. As you can see, those tomatoes are just starting, the skin's starting to crack and burst out and all that lovely flavour. So those skewers have been on for 3 or 4 minutes either side. Depending on how hot your flame is, you may need to just watch that and make sure you don't burn the outside. So just to finish off this dish now, all we're going to do is have a nice squeeze of lime juice and just a little bit more salt. So there you have some very simple salmon and prawn skewers, a very simple smoked trout salad. Anyone can do that one at home.
In my opinion, the answer is no, you can't. Fish is just beautiful, the fish fats. When you're pregnant, you should be eating fish because of the development of the baby's brain. Yeah. Oh, but Doc, mate, I don't like fish oil that much, so the capsules? Well, capsules work, the fish oil capsules, but the fish is better. Fish is the best protein food available to the human body.
I'm a bit of a fresh food nut, and there's nothing I like better than growing my own food in my garden. Well, my latest adventure has me growing barramundi in a pond in my own back garden, and I reckon that's fantastic. I thought I'd invented the system until I looked on the net to find it being done all around the world, and it even had a name, aquaponics, a combination of aquaculture, fish production and hydroponics, the growing of vegetables in a water-based system. The principle behind the setup is that the waste from the fish is converted by bacteria into food for the plants to take up through their roots, and this enables them to grow. I've got 3 aquaponic setups at home. This is a self-contained one. The fish are in the base in the tank. In this instance, they're silver perch, a great year-round performer. And up top in the grow beds, a whole selection of Chinese cabbages and herbs. I'm out here every couple of days harvesting. This raised pond has a butyl rubber liner and recycled kids' sandboxes as the grow beds. In here, barramundi are a very secretive fish that come from the tropics. The rushes I harvest for the compost, and the Lebanese cress goes into salads and stir-fries. This below-ground pond houses koi carp, goldfish and yabbies. These happily grow all year round and they're not troubled by changes in water temperature. These grow beds are my biggest and they provide a wide range of tasty vegetables all year round. Take a look at this celery. It's slurping up all the nutrients from the fish. It's growing bananas. In fact, we can't pick it fast enough. Fish pellets go in every day, and it's quite amazing how efficient the fish are at converting that food into body weight. Air is also introduced by way of these small pumps. As the water temperature drops below 20 degrees with the approach of winter, it's time to harvest the barramundi and then look for a winter crop. Well, trout love cold water, so they're going in here next. Well, in the meantime, I've got 20 barramundi to come out of my pond, so it's going to be barbecues for a whole week.
Coming up after the break, chocolate, coffee and raspberries, a match made in heaven.
The raspberry is a real favourite for home gardeners. They're sweet with a delightful tang. These Nelly Kelly red raspberries are available in pots, and that means you can plant them at any time of the year, including right now. So I'm going to put these 4 in this raised bed to add to the 50+ fruiting trees I've got in the garden. Lots of compost is the go. Also, I'm going to add a couple of teaspoons of planting gel, which has been hydrated with seaweed extract to keep moisture around the roots and ensure a good take for these new plants. Raspberries love a full sun position, but they can be a bit susceptible to root rot disease. So in sticky or clay-like soil, it's best to plant them in raised beds like this. Alternatively, bung them into sand. Now when it comes to pruning, once a year is all they need. And when they've finished fruiting, just take the old canes off right down at the ground. Now raspberries need support, and here's why. If you let this cane touch the ground, wherever it touches it'll send down roots, and then a new shoot will arise and it'll kangaroo hop all around the garden, and you don't want that. So it needs some form of vertical support. Put some gloves on because they can be spiny, and just wrap that plant around the support. And I'm just going to attach it with one of these little clips, just like that. Now that's how you grow them. Now, Julia is going to show you a specky recipe so that you can use these tiny, tasty fruit to the best advantage in the kitchen.
Thanks, Nev. Now, garden fresh raspberries make an excellent dessert companion with coffee and dark chocolate, which, by the way, is high in antioxidants. So I'm going to show you how to make a mocha fondant filled with raspberry ganache.
I'm a bit of a sucker for chocolate and raspberries together. I love the tartness of raspberries with the richness of good dark chocolate. It's one of those made-for-each-other combinations.
To get this started, I need to make my ganache. I have about 40 mils of cream in a saucepan over low heat. Once it's come up to just below a boil, pour it over about 100 grams of white chocolate. Just keep stirring until all the chocolate has melted. Add in a good handful of chopped raspberries and stir. It will go this incredible candy pink colour. Stick that in the fridge or freezer to set a little, and now it's time to make a coffee for the fondant.
I love having a coffee machine at home. To be honest, I'm a little bit addicted, so if I can't get to a cafe, it's really great being able to make my own espresso. This one's fantastic because it's one-touch automatic, which is great for a novice barista like me. But if you're a bit more of an expert, you can adjust the size of the grind or the temperature of the water, depending on what kind of coffee you like.
Put 60 grams of unsalted butter, the coffee, and 70 grams of dark chocolate into a bowl.
Use a good quality chocolate and one with a high percentage of cocoa solids. The better quality of the chocolate, the more luscious the end result will be. I've just put this over a saucepan of simmering water and I'm going to stir until the butter and chocolate have melted completely. Don't let the water boil too vigorously, as chocolate has a tendency to seize when it comes in contact with moisture.
When it's melted, remove it from the heat and replace it with a new bowl. Now whisk 2 eggs and 100 grams of caster sugar over your simmering water.
By essentially cooking your eggs over the heat now, it means that you cook your fondants for less time later, making sure that the centre is going to be extra gooey. This will take about 5 minutes and you'll know when the eggs are pale and thick.
Fold the chocolate into the eggs gently and sieve over 50 grams of plain flour. Mix this all together and put it in the fridge to cool completely. Grease and flour your moulds and half fill with the fondant mixture. Then scoop balls of your ganache and push into the centre. Top with more pudding mix and place them all on an oven tray. Stick them in a 180-degree oven for about 7 to 10 minutes. They're ready when the top is just firm to the touch. Pull them out, let them stand for a few minutes and then turn them out onto your serving plates.
To serve, a good dollop of whipped cream, a few fresh raspberries, and some icing sugar over the top. Mocha fondant with raspberry ganache.
Well, Julia, you've taken the raspberry to a whole new level, and I can't wait to get my fork into it.
Well, that's it for tonight. We really hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you all next week.
When we'll show you more on how to grow your own food, source the best local produce, and bring it all to the table. Now, guys, who wants to try my dessert?
Who doesn't?